we are live. Welcome to the Bennetts Life podcast. This is episode 3.
Yes.
And
today we're going to be talking about working parents or working and parenting.
Being a parent and working.
Being a parent and working full time.
And grinding. Improving our income.
Hold on a second. I have to go give some more cookie to my child.
All right. Well, so yeah, let's give you an overview. At this current stage in our life, we both work full-time jobs. We have basically a 2-year-old who's going to be 2 in 2 months' time. And we don't have childcare. We alternate who watches him. And we've had to get jobs where our schedules complement each other's. So neither of us can work at the same time. Otherwise, our child would be having to learn how to look after himself real quick. So that's our current situation. We have a 2-year-old. We both work full-time jobs, and they are opposite schedules to each other. So there's some
that's by choice. We don't have childcare by choice because we were not ready to be putting him that much time a day with somebody else.
And I don't trust nobody else with him.
Yes, because we don't trust anybody yet. But I think as he gets older, that will change because I think he's ready to be in classes with other people. I think it's going to have to be the right environment, the right amount of time, like per day. Like I'm not ready to put him for 8 hours a day, but I think he could do 2 or 3 hours, in the right environment. So
it would have to be the right environment. I'll feel sorry right now for the woman or the man who's going to take care of my child when I have to sit down and meet them. Because I already know it's not going to be, hey, nice to meet you.
We didn't initially want somebody, because when we first had him, I was working full time in Seattle. I left the Seattle job because I wasn't ready to
go back to work.
I wasn't ready to go back to work. I still wanted to be with my kid. He was a baby. He was 3 weeks old. And we didn't want to get a nanny or something because we both thought it was weird to have basically a stranger build a relationship with our kid and for our kid to be getting attached to somebody that wasn't a family member,
Yeah, and let's just put this out there to begin with. These are our opinions.
Right.
These are what we want for our child and children in the future. This is where our minds are at. It doesn't mean if you've got a nanny or you put your kid in daycare from day one that it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
So if we talk negative in anything like that, it's not us, oh, you guys suck, you're stupid, you're terrible parents.
Yeah.
We're not trying to say that. We're just saying, us as people, us as a family, this is what we would like to do and what works for us. So
yeah, not to say that doing that is what we think it's wrong or negative. Just for us, we weren't ready to do it, And would it be easier? Yes. And also, like, making those sort of choices comes with sacrifices. Also, like, we can't make as much money, and improve our life that much because we choose not to have childcare. So it's sacrifices, and you choose to prioritize what is important to you. So
I think there's a lot of swings and roundabouts. One factor here that's different, and if you want to learn more about living in a different country, go listen to episode 2. But in America, it's a very, very expensive thing to put your kid into childcare.
Yeah.
So
hundreds of dollars a week.
So it is almost cheaper for one person to be a stay-at-home parent and watch the children than both be working and putting your kid in, like, because you'll be working just to pay that childcare.
Right.
So you may as well not work in the first place.
And that's how we felt. We're like, the amount of money that we would have to spend to have him in some sort of daycare or to pay for a quality nanny, because you get what you pay for basically when it comes to childcare. We would be basically, one of us, their whole wage would be going towards his childcare, and we're like, why would we put a whole wage when that's just money that we could be not having to spend, and then that person stays with the kid. So that's basically what we chose to do.
Maybe we should.
And who knows if that was the right choice, but like we, definitely are. It's been 2 years now, and we still are in agreement that we're, made the right.
I think we did the right choice. I think we did. But
I think that maybe we could have tried harder in Seattle, whether it be like you watching the kid and bringing him or something, you know, like it would have made our the money situation tight. But I think like long term, like maybe it would have been, who knows, like, but that you can't change the past.
we had a child in October in Seattle, and we moved back to Tucson in December of the same year. So we didn't really give it a chance.
Right.
But we knew we were too young parents. We're probably too young. We're 2 years old now. Not that that's a big deal, but maturity-wise, I'd say we're way more mature than we were. We had to, now that we had a child. And we made decisions what we thought were best at the time, and I wouldn't change them. Yes, things maybe could have been different, but
being around family, we didn't have any family in Seattle, so we moved back to Tucson to get the help of our family, which we haven't even really taken full advantage of. Like, we live with my parents right now, so that does make it easier for like us to get breaks sometimes, like, oh, can you watch them while I'm doing this laundry or cooking or something like that. But it's not like we've taken advantage of it. We're like, oh, let's go for a date, or like, let's go for a 3-day weekend or something like that sort of stuff. We don't do. So
hey man, sorry, the kid's here. He's filling his mouth full of cookies.
Too many. Sorry, he literally just stuffed like 3 pieces of cookie in his mouth. So yeah. But back on topic of working and being a parent, I think that, and I'm going to start talking about from day one, so from having the baby to as I get older. So initially, I think America is one of the worst countries that you can live in to have a child. Our government, or I don't know, regulations or whatever, are not set up for moms to be having babies and working. Point blank. You have 6 weeks of unpaid maternity leave. That's what the government's going to give you. I don't know. Look at all this in his mouth, Chris. I don't know anybody who, unless you're independently wealthy, 6 weeks of unpaid time. 6 weeks is not enough time when you have a new baby to be like, all right, going back to work now, unless you are giving your baby to a nanny full time. And it depends on the type of parent you are. I had never been a mom before, but I knew that the type of mom that I wanted to be was not one to
hand them off.
Give them yes, I wanted to be the full-time mom. I wanted to do everything. I wanted to do breastfeeding on demand,
exclusively
basically,
for 6 months.
Yes, I wanted to exclusively breastfeed the kid, which means not giving him a bottle of formula, not having somebody else feed him. So,
which is what we did, by the way. In fact, she exclusively breastfed for 1 year.
Yeah. And
does exclusively breastfed mean that he only was breastfed? Because I think he was eating food towards the end of the year.
Yeah. So he was exclusively breastfed for 6 months, and then he only had breast milk as to drink until he was a year.
Even
so
older.
He wasn't getting milk. He was still drinking water.
Yeah.
But he wasn't having dairy.
Well, how long has he not been breastfed? No, he's nearly 2, and he hasn't been breastfed for 3 months.
Maybe like 2 months now.
2 months.
2.5 months. I don't know. So I stopped breastfeeding him around, I think he was like 20 months or 21 months. So. Which
made things a lot easier in regards to now me watching the kid.
Not having him
breastfed.
Yeah. So before when I started working, Chris I was about 6. He was 6 months when I started substituting, and I was only doing half days. But Chris would bring him so I could breastfeed him at the school, like in the car. Or
I'd be warming up frozen breast milk out of the freezer.
Yeah. Or he was having to like warm up frozen milk,
which doesn't taste very nice, by the way.
And so it was difficult. It was really difficult. And that's why I think depending on the parent that you are, like if you're trying to be like, I don't know how to explain it. I don't want it to sound negative when I'm saying like involved. And
well, I think if you stick with us long enough with us, the Bennetts, you'll find out that we never do anything the easiest way. We always try to do the best in every situation given, but in our experience thus far, when we try to make the best choices, it always equals more work, and it always makes it more difficult.
Yeah, so would it have been easier for Chris to just give him some formula when I wasn't there? Yes, but that's not what I wanted to do. And all the doctors are like, you did an awesome job. You did exactly what the pediatric blah, blah, blah says. So my thing, if the doctors are saying that you should be trying to breastfeed your kid exclusively for 6 months, the government should be supportive and give you 6 months of home time with your kid.
then every woman would probably do it.
And sort of like, not saying that they have to pay you if you're somebody who's making $100,000 a year. The government needs to give you $100,000 a year because you're not at work. But there should be a basic number, a basic like stipend of what you're getting while you're at home with your kid. You know,
there should be some sort of an allowance, like
Right.
like a per diem, like not a per diem, but something like that. Like you get this amount of money a week
While
to
you're
be
staying home with your kid.
as long as you're currently employed. You don't just have like if you're unemployed and have a kid. That's a different thing for me altogether, you know. Like if you're just using the government to take that
Right.
money, that's difficult for me to say you should get it.
Yeah.
But if you are
So
in
I know
full-time employment,
there's a lot of like, how would they regulate this sort of thing? But other countries are doing it. All you have to do is look at any other country in the world and see how they are doing it, and just take that formula. So anyways, this is a completely different podcast that we could be doing on breastfeeding and America's lack of support for breastfeeding moms and working moms. But back to being a working mom, or working parent. So that's why I think it's working and being a parent is difficult, because you have to make sacrifices. You have to sacrifice time with your kid in order to make money, and you have to sacrifice your career for your kid, basically. That's what I did. I stopped the career that I was working towards, which was being a college volleyball coach, in order to be the mom that I wanted to be. Is it fair? I don't know. Was it the right choice? I don't know. But the being able to basically be around him in these years that he's not even going to remember, I think we're not going to know the benefit of it until like maybe ever, you know. But I'm sure that some doctor has done some sort of research into kids that grow up via childcare or nannies, and ones that grow up with their moms, and who knows what the research has come out to say. But I would like to think that we have both benefited from being together as much as we have been while he's this age. So moving on to the next stage, now he's a little bit older. Chris can watch him. He's not dependent on me breastfeeding him. He can kind of sleep on his own. Not really yet. We're still working on that. But pretty soon he's going to be, I think, like we have a, what is it called? A pre-K, pre-kindergarten. So like preschool at the school that I work at. It starts when they are 2 years and 9 months and goes until they're 4, I think. So can you turn it down a little bit? So at about 2 years and 9 months, which I don't know how, like he's still, 11 months away from that time. But I think he might be ready to do like a preschool then, you know, and he's going to start to learn social activities. He's going to start to learn how to listen to instructions from a teacher. He's going to start to learn rules of a classroom, or like just rules in general, you know, like they're going to do activities, music and art and that sort of stuff. And I think that would be ultra beneficial. This is a different topic about homeschooling, because Chris is adamant that we are going to be homeschooling Bodhi. So that's a whole different podcast, which we could add that to the list of podcasts to do
at one point.
But I think that as he gets older, like working becomes easier as your kids get older, because they go into school, boom, most of the day they're in school, then working becomes easier. So I think that I'm doing a lot of talking. Chris isn't getting to do a lot of talking, but as
I'm busy fixing the kids' iPad, giving them cookies and dealing with them.
when kids are younger, it's harder to be working. They need you full time. I think that that's how they are designed. I think that that's how society should be designed. Kids need to be with their parents. I think a good age is until they're 2, you know, and that's not like set 2 years old, poop, you're off, you know, but around that toddler age, that's when they start to get more independent. You know, they can start to do things on their own. And I think it's easier for somebody else. Like he could easily go into a class and play with balls for a little, do snacks for a little bit. Like he doesn't need us as much, you know.
I agree and disagree. I'm not going to let him do anything on his own where neither of us are there until he can cognitively understand what's happening, so that therefore he can give us feedback in case something bad happens. Maybe I'm looking on the negative side of things, but there's too many cases where kids are getting fiddled with or abused or beaten or mistreated. And until Bodhi can turn around and say to me, Dad,
she hit me or something.
Dad, she hit us, or she touched us here, or she made us do this. Like, there's no way he's going to do anything. Like, he might be ready for it to if he can socialize with other kids with me or his mom there, just even sat to the side, but we've got eyes on him so we can watch it. Like, comes back to the I don't trust nobody with my kid yet. It makes me anxious when I even have to leave him with family, you know, like and maybe that's a bad thing on my behalf that I need to just suck it up, buttercup, but that's not how I want to be. Like, I'm very protective of him, and he's my first child. Maybe it'll be different by the time child number 4 comes around, but there's no way right now, because he can't turn around and say to me, Dad, I asked for some water, and she said no, and then she slapped us. Like, so he's not going to do it until he's at that point, and that's just something he's got to deal with, and he's got to deal with being with me and his mum more. But speaking about working, our schedules are nuts right now. On an average day, I'll wake up 3:30 in the morning, go to work. We have our own gym. I'm a personal trainer. So I'll get to the gym about 4 o'clock. I'll come back to the house for about 8 o'clock. Casey goes to work at 8 o'clock. Then she comes back. I drop the kid off with her at 3:30. I come back down to the gym to get to the gym for 4 p.m. And I stay at the gym from anywhere from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. And some nights I coach soccer and don't get back in the house till 10:30 p.m. The baby sleeps at about 8:30 right now. So therefore that means Casey's putting the baby down at 8:30. So if I come in the house any later than 8:30, my family isn't there. They're asleep. I'm on my own. All right? And that might sound soft to other people, but it's not. It really is. It's difficult when...
Well, it's quality time in the evening time, you know?
Well, it's just when I walk into the house and it's already shut down, you know? Like, it's not nice coming in from work and not getting to spend time with my wife and my child at the same time. I know I've seen my child all day, but I hadn't seen Casey at all. And that part's difficult to deal with. I also think it's unfair on Casey for me to be a stay-at-home parent. If we could split that 50-50, like I'm a stay-at-home parent Monday, Tuesday, half of Wednesday or all of Wednesday, and she's stay-at-home parent Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I think that's more fair, so we both get time with the kid, and so the kid gets time with both of us, because there's certain things that I do with the kid that Casey doesn't, and there's certain things Casey does with the kid that I don't, and I think he benefits from both, and he definitely benefits more from us being together. Now, I know it sounds like a lot of whining, and I know it sounds like we're not doing it, we're not making any positives here, but if family is your number one priority, working takes away from that priority, because money makes the world go around. You got to be able to pay bills, and you got to be able to progress to get to the life that you want to be. We're not at the life that we want to be yet, so we're both having a grind. So we will continue to grind as well, and work and be ships passing in the night with each other, me and Case, in order that when he's at an age where him being 2 is just a distant memory, or he doesn't remember at all, then we can say we worked hard in that moment to make sure we get the life that we want. It's difficult, though. It is difficult. It would be nice if we were, like Casey said, independently wealthy, and we were just able to do that. And we do work. We have, I'd say, collectively between the two of us, we've got about 5 to 6 sources of income, always, and we're still not rich. We're still in a position where we struggle with money. But
well, it's because we're trying to do the entrepreneur life. So we have like a few different businesses that are all they all kind of started at the same time. I don't think one started dramatically earlier than the other. So we're trying to push all these things to see if one will take off and change our life.
And the gym's been more successful. You know, this is something that brings in money on a daily basis.
Right. So
this is one that I'm committing to.
And that's the other thing. Like, it depends on the kind of work that you do. If I was working from home mom, like, yes, there'd still be time where I have to be on the computer or something, and he'd have to be off doing his own thing. But that is way better than.
Let's just discuss that. I know working at home is something that would be lovely, but if you don't have a 2-year-old, try working at home. Try sending emails. Try being on a phone call with a 2-year-old, like a business phone call with a 2-year-old, and be successful and be professional in it. It doesn't happen. I don't even do emails.
Well, that's
anymore.
the thing. I think the hours change because you have to do it when you have time through the day. Like, if there was a block of time where he napped,
snapping for 2 hours,
you could do that.
But there's certain times now where I need to send out certain emails to make sure that things are running smoothly, and it's almost impossible unless he's zoned out watching the Minions or he's fast asleep. And the positives of working and having a baby, though, or having a small child, is that hopefully soon, we're going to be in a position where we don't need to be working this much, and the benefits of working this much they'll be real. You know, we'll have what we would like, or we'll be in a position where we can do it, where we can stay at home with them and passively making that income. But until that actually happens, we've got to keep working.
Yeah. But yeah, so working is hard for us because our number one priority is family time. That's what we've chosen together, that we want to put on the forefront. So we're not, yes, would it be nice if we were grinding, as Chris says, in order to like change our life and that was our priority? But it's not. We have done both, like work, and had family time suffer, which is kind of what we're doing right now, which is why we're trying to change that. And we've done putting family time first, and our life has suffered because we were just basically spending all the time together and not making steps forward in life. So it's definitely about a balance. But now that we have experienced both and we know that, family time is important to us, it's just making that,
well, we got
like getting that,
like you said, we
balance.
We got to know your worth. That's for sure. You got to know what you're worth in regards to, if you've got to trade time for money, you better know what your time's worth. If you're just going to go in there and accept minimum wage, then it's not then that's how much you value your time. We value our time as way more than that, Here comes the boy.
He's saying, all right, it's our time is up.
Wrap this up. You're
talking about family time, and here I am over here wasting away. So
wasting away. He's eating chocolate chip cookies in the corner.
Like wasting away time by himself.
He's about to put the lens cap on.
He's about to sign off for us. So see you guys later. Thanks for listening. We will see you next week. We're going to go spend some family time together now. So bye!
That's some abrupt ending to the vlog. But make sure that you do check out our channel. Sporty, pull that cap off. Check out our channel. It is youtube.com/thebennettslife. And what would be lovely if you guys want to start a discussion and leave some comments on this video or on this iTunes or on our Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Just search for The Bennetts Life. You'll find us. And we will see you next week. Thank you for listening to I'm starting to find in case that these are just becoming rants. These are the last 3 I think we've just ranted on, which is good. All right, we're finding our groove in the podcast world. See you later. Bye-bye.